One dark and overcast night, in an old abandoned mansion, something terrible happened. Legend said that this place was cursed and inhabited by the sinister presence of ghosts. A young couple named David and Allison decided to spend the night in this house to test their courage and find out how true the rumors about his ghosts are. They were sure that all this was just fairy tales and myths. When they entered the mansion, they felt the gloomy atmosphere that enveloped it. The first few minutes passed quietly, and they began to examine the rooms, digging into every detail, looking for signs of the supernatural. But as the minutes passed, they began to hear strange noises and ghostly whispers that came from the darkness. There was a feeling that they were being watched from all sides. Allison turned around, startled, but there was no one in sight. David and Allison's hearts began to beat faster, and their breathing became heavier. They tried to stay reasonable and told themselves that it was all just imagination. But every minute inside the house turned into an eternity. Suddenly, shadows began to appear on the ceiling, sliding and intertwining with each other. Allison closed her eyes, not wanting to see the horror that spread before them. However, the ghostly forces were inexorably approaching. The ghosts began to manifest themselves more and more clearly. They were faceless and distorted, emitting angry screams and agonizing screams. David and Allison tried to escape, but it seemed that their feet were stuck in the dark and they could not leave this damned house. Minutes turned into an eternity as the ghosts surrounded them from all sides. The ghosts were getting closer and closer, and their cold touch on David and Allison's skin caused a burning pain. The couple's hearts were beating so fast that they seemed ready to break out of their chest. They tried to scream, but no sound came out of their throats. Terror gripped them, making it impossible to think rationally. Suddenly, an old music box started playing in the room. A gloomy melody filled the space, drowning out the screams of ghosts. David and Allison stopped, hoping it might attract the attention of someone who could help them. The music was getting louder, and the air was filled with a strange light. Suddenly, the figure of an old man with a haggard face entered the room. He walked over to David and Allison, and they were overcome by a sense of peace and security. The old man raised his hand and began to recite an ancient prayer, scaring away sinister forces. The ghosts began to disappear, and the mansion became quiet and calm again. David and Allison were weak on their knees, realizing that they were alive and saved from a nightmare. They thanked the old man for his help and rescue from ghosts. The old man explained to them that he had been a resident of this mansion many years ago and had himself become a victim of a curse left in the house. He struggled with ghosts, and his prayer became the only way to scare away evil forces. David and Allison left the mansion, vowing never to return. They have accepted the lesson that some places carry dark and powerful energies capable of attracting sinister creatures. From now on, they will be wary of such places and strive for light and safety. Since then, David and Allison have lived in constant fear and anxiety after their terrible experience with ghosts. They tried to avoid any abandoned or mystical places. Their hearts fluttered from a single rustle or shadow that could remind them of a nightmarish night. But from time to time, When they woke up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, they remembered the old man who saved them from ghosts. They asked themselves questions about his fate and how he was able to survive in this cursed place for so long. One day, almost a year after the incident, David and Allison heard about a mysterious book that contained information about the cursed places and their stories. They decided to go in search of this book, hoping to find answers to their questions and perhaps find a way to protect themselves from sinister forces. After much research and conversations with scientists and experts about the paranormal, they finally received information that the old man who helped them was a priest named William. He lived in a mansion at the end of the 19th century and fought with ghosts, trying to free their cursed house. David and Allison went to the library to find more information about the priest William and his feat. They found an old book that described his life and the fight against evil. It turned out that William performed a ritual of purification and expulsion of ghosts from the mansion, using ancient knowledge and prayers. He understood that the ghosts were evil souls who needed liberation and peace. Inspired by these discoveries, David and Allison decided to continue William's work and help other people suffering from ghosts. With the knowledge gained in their own experience, David and Allison created an organization dedicated to researching and helping people who encounter ghosts and cursed places. They called it the Purification Agency and set out to help those who need liberation from spiritual terror. They conducted detailed studies before each operation. The task force of the Purification Agency included experts in the field of the paranormal. Their task was to solve riddles related to cursed places and the use of various methods of purification. Every new case was a challenge for David, Allison, and their team. They encountered a variety of ghosts, from lost souls seeking peace to sinister and evil entities ready to harm the living. Some missions were more challenging than they expected. The ghosts resisted the cleansing, shouted threats, tried to intimidate and scare away the team. However, with the help of its knowledge, wisdom, and dedication, the Purification Agency did not give up. Each operation brought a new piece of the puzzle to understanding the mysterious world of spirits and cursed places. David and Allison began to learn more and more about spiritual energies mired in evil and how to help them go through the process of liberation. With each cleansing, each person saved, David and Allison found a new piece of their own world, taking back their strength and faith in goodness. The Agency of Purification continued its mission around the world, helping those who needed liberation from dark forces and terrifying ghosts. Their story has become a legend among the people they help.